John, for all the updates. So our speaker today is Ann WingQuest, and the title of her talk is Moving Beyond Separation. Fear, judgment, and attachment often shape our reactions without our realizing it. What becomes possible when we pause, reflect, and respond with greater awareness? Anne is a lifelong student of personal and spiritual transformation, and her guiding philosophy is simple. I teach what I most need to learn. Please welcome Ann WingQuest.
So I had a realization this morning that I've been working with these three culprits for a long time, and fear, judgment, and attachment.
Thank you.
And this morning I woke up and I thought, damn, we're all in this, and we have been for decades. Fear, judgment, and attachment are normal for us. We defend ourselves from them, we try to move around them, we do all these gyrations, and yet they're still here. And so I've been trying to figure out how to go beyond, because those three are definitely involved in separation. So I want to just talk a little bit about it, but the other thing that has dawned on me is that I don't have answers for any of you. You all have your own answers. And so instead of giving a long speech about all this, it's more important to me that I give you a sheet full of questions, and you can answer the questions from within your own heart. Because each one of us is so unique and so different that none of us really have the answers for another person. We can share, we can have a really good time going through all the gyrations and the descriptions and the philosophies and all that kind of thing. But when it really, really comes down to it, the person that you look at in the mirror is the one that has your answers for you. So, we're not looking for the right answer, okay? And we're not trying to prove how spiritually evolved, self-aware, or healed we are. We're just about looking for honesty in places where fear, judgment, and attachment have shaped our thoughts and our feelings. Is there anybody in here who has no fear?
Oh, absolutely.
Is there anyone in here who...
I do, but I'm afraid to raise my hand.
Oh.
You will be judged.
Yes.
I know.
And I've been working with judgment from a point of view of, rather than judging, to step back and observe and discern what's going on, rather than making it. But I made 3 judgments on my way over here. Just like that. I saw a guy staggering. My mind said, I think he's drunk. Just like that. I mean, it was like, wait a minute, I didn't. So part of this practice is like in retrospect, because I made it that fast, but I caught it and said to myself, there you go. Because I have no idea. He may have tripped on a stone, walked in a puddle. I have no idea what happened. So part of this is like becoming really humble with yourself, compassionate with yourself, because I don't think that this is something that you can do just like by taking a pill or reading a book or watching a TV. None of that. It has to come right from here. Okay. So I believe we all carry deep wisdom within us. That's very, very close to my heart. The answers aren't out there. The challenge is not finding the truth, but becoming honest enough to recognize it. And that is, there's a truth with a small t and a truth with a capital T. And they sort of have to finally come together into what you believe is true. Okay. So the ego, in my experience, is very clever. And one of the things that I was really shocked to realize was that ego likes to use spiritual terms and technology to dupe us. Like, this sounds real spiritual. If I get all dressed up and I have my eyebrows on right and everything, I'm okay. Maybe so and maybe not. So it minimizes, justifies, distracts, defends, distorts. And the more you resist it, the more power it gets. Most of the time we just tell everybody we're fine, right? How are you? I'm fine. Doing well. Of course, I just left the mirror and I'm thinking, well, that's not exactly all true. But, so the invitation for today is just simply to slow down, become curious, and to tell the truth. And this takes a lot of compassion for yourself. I don't know about you, but I have a very critical committee, a whole committee in my head. I have a financial advisor that's always telling me I don't have enough and I'm going to be a bag lady. And I have people, or the other one loves to tell me that I'm stupid, or that was stupid, or, and I'm sure you have these little people. The financial one, I have to tell every night, I can't do double-digit math in my sleep. So you're going to have to wait until the morning for me to deal with this illusionary problem that you're handing me. And I love to make, I put humor in this only because it really is kind of odd and unnecessary, and yet here we all are, right in the middle of it. So, fear, judgment, and attachment are not only personal patterns, they're deeply embedded in the culture around us. They are often rewarded, mirrored, and reinforced until they begin to look normal. The other game that ego likes to play is pointing fingers at someone else. It's not you, it's that one, it's this one, it's the banker, it's the gas station attendant, it's anybody but me, right? So fear can masquerade as prudence as well. Judgment can masquerade as discernment, and attachment can masquerade as love, loyalty, and responsibility. Well, it was my responsibility to make sure that she didn't do that. So I chose to call these habits because I think they can change. If I call them anything else, then we're kind of stuck, or at least I am. So to make an honest inquiry is important. If these patterns are culturally normalized, then awakening requires more than noticing how I feel. It asks me to question why I've accepted this as the way of life. It's just the way of life. I'm getting older. I'm gonna die. That kind of thing. Or this is just who I am. You can just accept me or not accept me, but with all my little flaws and quirks and irritabilities and stuff. But I believe I'm more than that. I've been on this quest for like 60 years. And even that, I got charged with that I'm 79 years old and I'm just getting the picture. So one question that I ask myself when I begin feeling pressured, contracted, or reactive is, who is running this narrative? That stops it right there. It's like, oh, she caught me. Is it fear? Is it an old wound? Is it judgment? Is it attachment? What is going on here right now, this minute? And like with my example of watching the man stumble and immediately making a judgment. Okay, I know who's running the narrative. It's ego again. So what is ego trying to protect? My image, my control, to help me avoid discomfort? Is it a family voice, a cultural voice, or a spiritual performance voice? Or is it the deeper truth in me asking to be heard? And that's kind of a different way of looking at it, instead of feeling judged or feeling like you've attached to something and now you're worried about judging your attachments. to actually take everything as a lesson. What is this trying to teach me? What am I? And I do have like little ideas of what it is that I'm watching for. I can't watch for everything all the time, but with the judgment thing, like I said, every time I do that, it's like a bee sting almost, because it's like, oh, I just did it again. I said I wasn't going to do it all day, and of course, that just invites more of it. All right, so, let me see here. Okay, questions on the narrative. When I feel pressured, contracted, defensive, or urgent, who's running the narrative in me? Does this voice sound like fear, ego, old wound? What have I accepted as normal that may actually be fear, judgment, or attachment? I have to pay my house payment. Is that an attachment? I don't know. I have to think about that. So some ideas are the pause, which I think is really, really important, because there's a difference between reacting and responding. And the way that it works is that you have a stimulus, and before you do anything, you stop and say, what is this? And how do I want to respond? A reaction is just immediate, and then you have to backtrack. But what a response is giving yourself one big breath to just think about what's going on here in this moment. And silence is a wonderful, wonderful tool for allowing you to take that pause. I sometimes even ask to be excused from the room, because when I get triggered, it's even harder for me to respond than it is when I'm not triggered. My triggers to me are friendly reminders that I'm not finished. I don't know where they all come from, but some of them come from my past experiences. Some of them come from my holier-than-thou opinion of myself. So when somebody says something that doesn't fit my sparkling personality, I can easily get triggered. And before, I used to worry about getting triggered, especially in public, where I make a big reaction right in front of everybody else, and then they saw me. They saw me do that. I was hiding that. I was trying to hide that, and it doesn't work. But when I am able to just be silent, for a while I was putting my fingers up to my mouth, just to remind myself, don't say anything yet, you don't know what's going on here. And then it became easier and easier to take the pause. I say to the person, I'm triggered. I need a moment. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go in the bathroom right now to catch my breath and to figure out how I want to respond to you, because this isn't your trigger, this is my trigger. And a friend of mine gave me a line that I just love. She says, I may have pushed your button, but I didn't install it. And, so I reverse that, and I say to myself, that person pushed my button, but the trigger came from inside me, and I'm the only one that can figure that out and do something about it. And of course, this immediately makes you aware that blame or pointing out there or whatever is not going to solve your problem. It's just going to perpetuate it. And so this is the work. I remember Mary Nelson used to say all the time, people don't want to do the work. And I didn't know what she meant, because I wasn't doing the work.
Work, what work?
Yeah. And that always used to kind of fluster me, because she'd say they're not doing the work, and I think, I read books, I meditate in the morning, I eat well, isn't that the work? No, the work goes much deeper than that inside me, when I'm being really, really honest with myself. And for years I wasn't. I remember in my 20s I would get one of those how to make your life beautiful books, and they'd ask questions in there about, are you doing this, are you doing that, and I would lie. You know, there's a check mark from 1 to 10. How are you doing on it? Oh, I'm at a 10. And then I'd look back and think, and then I'd throw the book away. I said, I'm done with this book. But I never really did the work. And I'm calling this year, my 79th year, my rebirth year, because I'm done with all that. I've fooled around enough. I've distracted myself enough. All that. And I'm tired of it. it's too much work. And the other thing is that it's affecting my physical body. I only have one physical body to live in. I want to stay here until I'm done. And I'm not done. So I started really paying attention to how fear, judgment, and attachment affect me physically. We contract. I get anxious. My blood pressure goes up. My body aches because it's had enough with all this. It wants help. It wants respect. Lance last week did a talk on AI, and he said two things that really impressed me. One, AI has no soul. And where the soul lives is within your physical body. That's the container. And so if you're not taking care of your physical body, you're causing problems for the soul. Anyway, that's the way that I took the message, and I went home and I thought, I've never really liked my body. I just drag it around. I get it in the car. I take it out of the car. I put it in the bathtub. I take it out of the bathtub. When I'm mad at it, I eat lots of ice cream.
Oh, that's not mad. That's good.
Well, it tastes good at the time. But I never really said to the body, gee, I'm so glad you're around so that my soul can grow. Maybe I should be nicer to you so that we can do this together. Like, what is together? What does that mean? Mind, body, spirit, emotion. Is emotion different from feeling? Is that, I don't know. I need to do some work here to figure this out. But the bottom line is that I would not treat another person as unkindly as I treat myself. And I keep it all really, really quiet. I don't go around telling you, do you know what I did today that just made my body so mad? It's like, what? So that's why I came to share with you that, first of all, the most important part is that this is a cultural thing. Each of us has to do our own work, but what the sum total of it will be is peace and love and joy and happiness for all of us. I don't know about you, but when I feel like somebody is judging me, I just want to get away. I feel hurt. I feel unaccepted, and that kind of thing. And when we reverse that, I don't want to lay that on somebody else, because I don't know who you are. Even from the time you walked in the door and sat down here, you changed. Because we're a going, flowing, spiritual being. And what would it be like if we treated each other like we were all spiritual beings? And really celebrated your uniqueness. Because this is, I haven't quite figured this out yet, but what I've read is that we came into the body to separate from all, but we never separated from all because we are all. And when I hear you're already perfect, the work is already done, you're doing your work, all you have to do is breathe and be. How do you do that? I know how the breathing part works. figured the breathing part out. And yet I've been breathing since I was born. I just didn't understand what breathing was for, or why you do it, or why my heart beats, or any of that kind of stuff. And so I've become very, very curious now about how do I move from a fearful place to a place of joy? How do I observe the world, accept the world, and participate in the world without judgment? How do I take care of the physical stuff, the car, the bank account, the house, without attaching myself to it? Those are questions I'm still answering. And I'm offering them to you so that you can look at them too. How do you do that? Because if you don't know how you do it, how are you going to change it? And I don't want to be stuck anymore. I want to be in the flow. When it says beingness, I want to feel what beingness is. To me, I hook it to the present moment, which is also a real phenomenon for me, to stay in the present moment and not go flying back to the past or worrying about the future. And part of the pause for me right now is that I have decided not to watch any TV at all. None. Because what I found myself doing was watching these drama shows and then laying down at night and psychoanalyzing the fictionary characters in the program. I'm thinking, I have enough problems.
What she should have said was.
Yeah. Or how could she ever have thought about doing that? If I'd been there, I would have told her that. And then I thought, why would I sign up for that kind of suffering on a TV show? And I thought, well, one way to solve that one is just cut it off. And I find myself to be much more peaceful because I don't have all these fictitious people in my life. They're illusions. I mean, if you want to have a really, really good idea of what an illusion is, just get attached to some TV show that you have to watch the next episode because you can't imagine what else they could possibly do that was any wilder than what already happened. And they're so clever at knitting it all together so that every single character in the TV show is a screw-up. They love to point out the flaws and the deceit and all that. And so that's one thing that I did. I just decided I wasn't going to do that anymore. I don't know what it will be for you, but that's just something to look at, that if you're, and that to me was an attachment as well as a distraction. Because I get so far into the show that I would forget to put the wash into the dryer, because and it was all illusion. So what I did was I made up a bunch of questions, and I think I even have enough papers for everybody. I don't expect you to sit down in one sitting and answer all these questions. As a matter of fact, I don't expect you to even answer all of them. What I would like to suggest is that you take the list of questions and see what other questions are behind them for you.
Thank you.
freedom, one of the things that I find that the ego likes to do is, the ego likes to feel shoved, pushed, pressured, and it says, no, I won't do that. I'm not going to do that.
Thank you. The ego, did you say?
Yeah.
Oh.
For instance, you sign up for, you buy a gym membership, right? You're going to go every week, right? I paid for 1 whole year of a gym membership, and I never went in the door.
Well, shame on you for that. You ought to work out, your body wants you to.
Yeah, there you go. And so then not only did ego get me for not working out, eagle. My inner eagle.
I thought,
Your inner eagle.
that's your inner eagle. Sorry.
So the consequence of that was I didn't work out. I paid a whole bunch of money for nothing. And then I beat myself up for 1 whole extra year for doing that. And I wouldn't allow me to spend money on things that I wanted to spend money on because I already spent the money. And there I was. I mean, you see what a wonderful cycle I can make for myself? Yeah, good punishment, good punishment. So in these questions, you might find some that are very, very helpful, and you might find some that kind of gnaw at you, but you don't really think that that's exactly the right question. Listen to your intuition and let it lead you. One of the advantages of doing it this way is that you're the only one that ever gets to read the answer. One of the reasons why I think we're shy to share our journeys and our foibles and all that kind of stuff is that we're going to get judged. So if there's nobody there but you, then you don't have to worry about whether this is going to come true, whether this is the wrong thing to do, all that kind of stuff. Maybe so, maybe not. When I read my journals, when I go back and read my journals, first of all, they're very boring. Stuff that I wrote down that I thought was so important just seemed so stupid at the reading of them, and I was going to find all this wisdom in my journals. See, I was going to go back and say, oh, look, I've made progress because I have all this wisdom in my journals. And what I had was a kind of a dull story of normal life with work issues and rain and stuff that doesn't really have any context at all. So I started asking myself really hard questions in my journals, and sometimes I can't answer right away because I don't want to. Or maybe I didn't have it completely thought through what the question really was. What is the question? Now, some really simple places to look are your worthiness. Do you feel worthy? Can you trust yourself? Do you trust yourself? Or are you always wondering if the little ego's going to come around the side of the house and be right there at the door going, ha ha, you can't trust yourself, you just made a judgment. So that's, does anybody have any questions?
I would have a comment, or add, so, and when you say judgment, so using the example of the person that was out there, I probably saw the same person.
Did you judge him?
Well, no, it's interesting when people say judging. So we all have thoughts, right? And we run them through a filter system. So instead of going, oh, he's a drunk, or he's probably, moved out, whatever, to not even have a thought, I don't think that's realistic. Because we're constantly thinking about giving something a label or commenting or opinions or something, right? So what would your suggestion be through your filter system? Like, well, I wonder what his story is, or something like that.
Well, first of all, thoughts are not gonna help you. You have to go into the heart. When you go into your own heart with compassion for yourself, you'll see the world a whole different way.
So how would you, using that with
So-
the gentleman that you caught yourself going, oh, wow, you just had a judgment.
First of all, I realized it was a thought.
Okay.
And then I said to myself, who's running this narrative? Ego. What's the point of that thought? It's to separate. It's to judge. And then I put myself back in an amused way, saying, there you go, Ann. I mean, the first mistake I made is saying early in the morning, I'm not gonna judge anything. I mean, it's like such a setup.
You know, you've been working this for a long time, and I just see this, we had a, what was it?
Right.
Five or 6 years ago, we
Yeah.
were working with that, and you were working it with 10 years before that.
So this is a,
Yeah.
this is a book that this is the story about this book. I was in meditation. I heard a voice say, there's a book in your office that you need to go get. I walked in my office and this book was on top of the box. I picked it up and I said, how did that get in my house? I don't even remember buying it. I don't think I remember what's in it. And so I read it. And it took 2 days. I just sort of like kept reading and reading and reading until I got to the end. This is my purpose. And my idea of the receiving the cosmic Christ has changed. I used to attach it to the person, to the Jesus person, because I don't believe that Christ is Jesus' last name, but we've attached the two names together. To me, cosmic Christ is a energy. It's not a thing, it's not a person, it's an energy. And the way that I have come to understand it, as little as I know how to understand things like that, is that Jesus was the first one who was able to bring the cosmic Christ to earth. And of course his story is very dramatic, but he's still writing. He has A Course in Miracles, A Course in Love, The Way of Mastery. He keeps coming back and giving us more information so that maybe we'll get the story. Can you imagine what it would be like to wait 2026 years for people to wake up? And so that's my idea of what the cosmic Christ is. Now, I got so excited about this book that I bought a whole bunch of them. They're out of print. So I found every source that I could from used bookstores, and I bought a whole bunch of them. And then I even copied it, and I really would like to republish it. Because what this is a book about building community, and how we can't do this by ourselves. We have to join together in order for the coming of the second coming of the Christ is through you. And so I'm here on a mission, in a sense, to invite you to do your work so that we can create a new community. The new community will be so different than what we're doing now. Because if you stop and think about all the lies you've been told, all the patterns that you have been taught, all the calamity that's happened. We made churches, we made financial institutions, and the one I love the best is insurance. Do you know how much money I've paid in insurance over my life? And how little I've ever got back from it? But that's what they told us was going to make us safe.
Yeah, risk management.
Right. Right. Well, even health insurance. All these things were created to make you feel safe. Are you safe? Do you feel safe?
In your Christ mind.
You're safe in your Christ mind. But what does that mean?
Practice.
Well, practice is to reverse this. Now, in A Course in Miracles, it says there's no difference between a small miracle and a large miracle. They're all just miracles. And what is a miracle? It's a change in the way that things are to a new place, from the old to the new. And to me, the reason that the butterfly is my icon is that in order for a butterfly to be born, it starts out as a teeny tiny egg into a caterpillar. The caterpillar is inside the butterfly, right? Because the most enchanting part is when it's in the cocoon and it turns into mush. It's no longer a caterpillar, it's not a butterfly yet. It's just raw stuff. That to me is a miracle. I mean, I can't name it any other way. And then I stop and think about, when I go into the cocoon, am I willing to go into the cocoon? Am I willing to dissolve everything I thought I knew, everything I've learned, all the years that I've been on this planet, into goo, so that I can come out on the other side as a Christed being? Am I willing to do that? Yes.
I remember when we were working with that some years ago, it was very, very much embodied, where you kind of focus your attention at a particular place in your body, behind your heart, or a specific place, and just you really focus on that. And I wish we had we sort of read about it, but I wish we had really done it more. And one person read it, just really do the embodiment
Well,
part of that.
back then, I didn't have the same idea as I do now. I thought that reading the book was going to impart the truth of the book.
Yeah.
But what you're saying is absolutely true, that he gives a lot of exercises in here. He gives meditations in here. He points out different parts of the body that are active. When you talk about the heart, the behind the heart, have you ever?
A very, very specific
Right.
location, yeah.
And have you ever thought about your heart from behind? I thought that was very curious and kind of cool. The other place that he talks a lot about is the place right where your spine and your head meet, your who knows the
Occipital.
the
Or-
occipital.
Cranium.
Medulla oblongata.
No.
Ao.
The joint between.
It's right
the
back
apples
there.
and the
Yeah.
oranges.
Good, it's definitely back there.
So what he has to say about that is, that's where community consciousness comes through you into the community, right here, right here. And so in the meditations, he asks you to pay attention to that area and let it open up. So yeah, and I'm still at it.
Yeah, you've been carrying that around for what, 20, 25 years?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's, I feel
So
very,
you're not done with it yet, and it's not done with you.
no. As a matter of fact, I feel like I can channel this guy. When I'm reading the book, I feel like he's with me, and I feel like the message to republish it is coming from him. Because it's such a powerful book. Because right now, we're at a point where we need to come together as a community. Our lights, it's been proven that when you put so many watts together, it gets brighter and brighter and brighter, right? Well, you're a light, and you're a light, and you're a light. And when we don't turn our lights on, or we cover them, deny them, we're still separate. Because that was something that always made me wonder when you say, we're all one. Okay, that sounds pretty cool.
Especially when you include your ancestors.
Well,
Because with their light.
when I say we are all one, I'm talking about such an expanded picture that you can't hold it. And if we all thought of each other as a tiny pinprick, there's what, 8 billion people on the planet? Something like that. So 2 things come to mind for me, is that if I'm a tiny pinprick, then all of the bullshit that I've created isn't even real. And it leaves me kind of lost, because I thought I knew who I was and what my identity was, and I read all these books and I do all this stuff. But think of that. I also looked up how many cells I have in my body. For women, it's 28 trillion cells in your body.
Wow.
For men, it's 35 trillion cells in your body. That's a miracle. And were we to honor everything that's going on in those 28 trillion cells, I wonder what kind of expansion that would create. And when I get through with all this pondering, it just blows my mind. I cannot hold it. All of us are in this container. And all of us think we're only this big, and yes we are, and no we're not. Does that make sense? But I feel such a strong, strong passion for creating a community where we can live in peace again. And I think that all of the horrible things that are happening, the wars and the deceit and all the uncovering of all the corruption and all that kind of stuff, is part of bringing our awareness to the fact that this is all illusion. This is not real. And even when I say that, I don't know what that means. Does that make sense? Oh, I hear it, we're all one. I like that. I like that. But the thing that immediately pops up is separate. You know, you're in a different body, you're in a different body.
But we all have a
Maybe
Christ
it would
mind.
be individual, would be the word for it, individual within the
Right.
cosmos.
Well,
But that's part of the design.
God was one before the Big Bang. And for some reason, that wasn't doing it for God.
There wasn't
You want a
any
relationship.
fun.
And so there was, and so there was this Big Bang, and all this, swirling and stuff like that. God wanted to experience God's self through us, through the universe, through everything, and having it all together in one little pot just wasn't quite the thing.
So
We are one, and we're
A reflection.
multifarious, and
So, I remember when I was little, somebody asked me, why would God do that? And I said, because he wants us to come home on our own.
Freely. Freely.
He gave us free will to choose to come back to allness. Like a choice, not a
An
demand.
insurance policy.
Not an insurance. Does that make sense? That God spread himself all out throughout the universe and allowed people to do whatever they wanted. He experienced that through you, and also is calling you home. And at this time in the universal eternity, because it's not a straight timeline, it's a swirling thing. We have quirks, we have so much information, so much scientific information, so much spiritual information, all this stuff. That I think we've come to a point where we're in awe and wondering what all this is about. And we needed to get here in order for us to start making choices that would honor all, would include all, would promote joy. Love got kind of a bad reputation when Hallmark came in.
Perish the thought.
Hallmark and Harvey Weinstein.
So it kind of cheapened the whole word in my estimation. We started giving each other love letters and flowers and,
Especially as an emotion.
well, and emotion is different than feeling, and
And
love
love.
is different than both of those because it's the air we breathe. It's all of it. And so I've come to a new appreciation of the word without using it as a Band-Aid. You should love everyone. You should do this, you should do that. I think
Don't.
if you are being in love, you are being in love, not with another person, with your Christ self. That's the formula for building a community where everybody's included, where we don't get impatient with each other's stuff because we realize that stuff is what you need to hear. That's what you need to be aware of. And instead of judging, we should celebrate. Celebrate. 'Cause when they say you have to be as a little child in order to return to the kingdom of God, what I get from that is that I innocently need to accept myself and you and presence and abundance and a whole bunch of other stuff in order for me to feel whole, because the whole is, we're all part of it. And if I say, well, I can accept everybody in this room except you, that kind of blows it, right? And you could end up saying, oh my God, I wasn't accepted, you know? And that swirls off into, you know, I'm at a loss for words, truly, here. I am gonna republish the book, and I am inviting you to just do your own book. Don't you think that's the most exquisite design of the whole thing, is that God gave every single 8 billion people the same menu to choose from. You can go with me, or you can stay here. You can come home, or you can continue to be separate. It's your choice. I've made the choice to do everything I can to understand the Christ consciousness, because I don't want to be separate. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be in pain. I don't want to be suffering anymore. And if by making that choice, I'm able to expand into a place that is called the Garden of Eden, I'm willing, I'm ready to go. I got my plane ticket and my $27 ticket to the So it's 4:00. I'm hoping that you will look at these questions, and journaling is one of my go-tos, because I'm talking to myself. And I've become brutally honest in my journals recently. And because I've been able to become more compassionate with myself. And so my journals went from you should have done this and you should have done that, and you didn't do this and you didn't do that, to let's just take a pause and review what happened yesterday and let it go, and not worry about the future, because I'm sitting here right now. How do you feel? So there you go. And thank you for being here, because you were part of the Yeah. And if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to throw them right back at you, but.
Read through that book with the group. I think, you know,
I'll start it.
too much in the head. I think the embodiment part is missing for me. What I would like to do is, rather than read about, really do the
Right.
allowing and meditating,
Well, you know, we did a meditation every single time. I don't know why that group
There's a
didn't
QR
quite
code there
gel.
too. Oh.
It just didn't quite gel. Part of it in my,
Well, it did, because it's still, I mean, you know, we're still around separately as that.
Oh, yeah, I'm
Yeah, I feel drawn to that too. But I just.
well, I am more than happy to start another book group on this book,
Yeah, I
because
don't want to read the book again, but I would
No.
love
well, I'm more than
to really get into the exercise. They do the, because they were just, you know, all the physical stuff.
So I did a book group, and it just didn't gel, and I was very, very disappointed. Because the exercises are all in here. And I think in the future, what I would do is have everybody read the book, and then we'll do it again. Because I
And
think.
actually do the exercise.
Right.
read about them, but really.
Right. Well, that was my
Anyway.
first shot at it.
Yeah, well,
but
listen,
I'm-
yeah, and mine too. I'd like to do it again,
Yeah.
focus on the real embodiment aspects of it.
Well, they're all in here.
Yep.
We can sure do that because it's, what he says in here is.
Yeah, it's right here.
Yes, I did.
But are you gonna have it available here? Is that, you're gonna republish the book?
Yeah.
And then where will it be available to buy? I'm not from here.
Oh, you're not?
No, she is, but I'm not.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll just keep hooked up because, one thing that I did was I sent a letter to the foundation, that's listed in this book. It's the, Karuna Foundation. There's an address in here. So I wrote a letter saying, I want to republish the book. Will you please give me permission? The letter came back unopened. And I think what that means is that then I can move forward to republish it. Because
Go for it.
He
It
doesn't
even
exist.
exist.
He's
Get an
dead.
ISBN number.
Send it to Amazon.com and see if they will,
Yeah. But it does have exercises in it, and I find it interesting that, that didn't come to the surface, because what I found was that the attendance to the group was very spotty. It was kind of like, yeah, maybe I'll go, maybe I won't, kind of thing. And so.
It was great, we had fun. Richard brought his cello. It was a great group.
Well, we had a good time, but we didn't really
Do
do the work.
So speaking of work, after many years of reading and opening to oneself and trying to understand the Christ mind that they were born with, by simply acknowledging the fact that Christ mind, that Christ nature, that is something you were born with.
Right.
And so by just going in your own timeline,
Right.
right, and accepting who in fact you really are with the knowledge and the awareness that you were born with Christ mind.
Right.
And then the whole idea of having a body and expression and a life to live is to learn how to, with this astrological, electromagnetic gizmo we all got, that we can in fact become cosmic. And there's ancestors that are still working on that don't have a body, that are still trying to get cosmic.
Well,
But they have a, and as a human being, with the human body, with our human experience, that step from being a child of God in a Christ, with a Christ mind, and then going out and reaching out and expanding your awareness out, that you can become more than that drop in the ocean. You become the ocean.
Right,
And that's
well,
where
that's-
non-separateness, comes into, is to
So-
be able
so
to take
I'm
a
not-
bath in the grace and in the holistic viewpoint of your own being.
So one thing that I would change there is that you say Christ mind. I think it's not just mind. I think it's the whole beingness, which includes.
Expression, it's the expression.
And
But as a baby.
what he says in here is that the truth will come to you through sensation.
Through C1, D1, B1.
So that's very interesting to me, that sensation is such an important part. We all have sensations. And another thing that was in the way
Which are
of.
different from feelings.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emotion. It's different from emotion. They're,
Well,
I mean, real
emotions.
physical
is-
sensations.
Right. I'm sure that all of you have had some kind of experience where, you just knew, you just felt whole.
Yeah.
It may have only lasted a short time, but that's called your sovereignty. And that's what we're trying to grow.
Can't run away from.
So anyway, I don't want to keep you any longer, but I will let you know when I get this reprinted. And maybe you and I could sit with some of the exercises that are in
I
here.
think so. I just think very Nelson's coach. We didn't really do the work. We read about the work, we understood, we haven't done the work yet.
Right.
I'd like to be with the group to.
Yes, well, I think that's the place we are right now, is that we need to
We need to do the work.
And I'm inviting you, wherever you are, do your work. I don't know what your work is, I only know what my work is. But I'm more than happy to organize a communal kind of thing where we can talk about our work together.
A work party.
Teach each other.
Let's
All
have
right.
another round of applause for
Yeah.
Ann.